Hello and welcome to the video editing tutorial for VideoPad. We're just going to be doing a basic export of video and audio. So the video that we're going to be using is from just a basic video camera, and the audio is from the sound system that's been recorded in the Hilfield chapel. So if you want to go ahead and click New Project, and you'll get this here. So you'll see you have your video track here, your audio track, and your sequence preview. So that's everything that goes along this bar here. And as you can see, I'm clicking along here. That's how you select what's on your timeline, this bar here. And you'll see on your bottom right hand side, you've got your zoom in, zoom out. There'll be bars at the bottom if you want to scan along your audio and video files. And that is the basics. And if you want to cut anything, you click on this and a wee cut sign comes up. But we'll get to that. So, first thing we want to do is go up to the left-hand side here and click Add Files. So, it'll look a little bit different on your setup if you're using Windows, but you want to go to your desktop, which is here, go to Recorded Services, that's what I've got here, and then we want to upload audio first. So let's do that, and we'll see the audio file here. So this says file 006 MP3, and you should have the same as well. Just make sure it's the file with the highest number next to it, because that will be your most recent audio file. So make sure it's that. If you're not sure, double click it, have a wee listen to it, and then when you're sure that that's it, open it up and it'll be imported in. So there we go, we have our audio file, and we now want to drag this audio file down to audio 2. So here we go. So now you should have 3 separate tracks here. You've got your video, your audio, and audio 1, and audio 2. So we want to leave this clear so then we can have the video audio come in at the same time as the video. Otherwise, if we had this here, then it would overlap. So let's get this cursor back to the beginning. There we go. And now we want to do the same thing again. So add files, go to the recorded services folder. This time we click on video. There we go. Click on your most recent video, or the one that is the one that you want to upload onto this editing software. Click open, and there we go. So it'll immediately add it to the end of the audio file. So what we want to do is just select these, drag them along, make sure they match up. So you see there, it actually goes further than what you expect. So you can't just throw it along. You have to make sure it sits there. It kind of latches on to 0 kind of naturally. Let go, and there we go. So now you can see when you click along here, you get different options. So the first option here is cut. So if you click that, it cuts the tracks. So if you want to do that, it says here, if you hover over it, split all tracks. That's just a wee shortcut. So we won't focus on that at the moment. If you want all the tracks to be cut, select these tracks here. So just click once and it selects the video and the video audio track. Hold Shift, select the other track, and that's all of them selected. Click this, cut, and you've made a cut in your audio. But obviously we don't want to leave a random cut in our video. So if you want to undo any mistake, go to the arrows at the top here, where you can undo and redo your mistake, or you can do Control and Z, and that will fix the problem. And then if you ever think, oh, well actually I want to do that, just click forward, and there you go, back there. So here we go. We have our audio and our video. So first thing we want to do is line up the audio, the standalone audio with the video audio. So if I just click here and zoom in, we're looking for a standalone transient. A transient is a waveform that sticks out and then hits back down, goes back down. So this is a transient here. That's a pretty clear transient. And while I was recording, at the end of the recording, I did a wee click next to the microphone. Or I also did a wee clap, I think, at one point. But that is to indicate a clear transient within the audio on the standalone audio file and the video audio file. So this means when you're editing the audio together, you have a clear point, a clear reference point of where you can match the two pieces of audio together. So all you need to do is listen through. So let's have a listen at the video audio first, because that's a bit of a harder one to try and find. And that's what we're after there. This wee transient here, I just heard a wee clap or a click. It's quite hard when it's very reverby in the room. And so what I'm going to do is match it up with this here. So we mute this track, unmute audio 2. There we go. And that's what should match up there. So all we need to do, zoom back out again. And we're going to drag this down so that it lines up with the other audio. That should be it approximately together. So what we're trying to do is line up these two audio files together. So let's keep zooming in. Move along, so we have our wee bar here. If you ever get lost, just zoom back out. Find out where the bar is. Brilliant, it's right there. Zoom back in and it will take you straight back into the audio file. Let's make sure we got the right thing here. Yep, so they're matching up okay. Let's make it a little bit better, a little bit more accurate. Go back here, zoom in, zoom back out. Sometimes it can be a wee bit of zooming in, zooming out, zooming in, zooming out. But we're just trying to get everything as close as possible to sound as good as possible. So we see the start of the transients here. So let's click on this, line it up. And we want to make sure that the audio is lined up here. So that's pretty spot on. That's as about spot on as we're going to get. So then if we just listen to it one more time with all the audio tracks unmuted, and you can hear there that it's lined up. So let's zoom back out and go to the end, or you can click in this bit here. You have your classic rewind, play, pause buttons, and if you hover over them, they tell you exactly what they are. So that skips the frames. So that's very delicate touches there. It's milliseconds. You can do this, which takes you right back to the start. That's just a stop. Or you can click this, which takes you to the end of the video. So let's go to the start. Zoom back in. And let's see if everything's matched up. So as we can see there, the audio's matched up with the video and everything's in line. If your video seems to lag quite a bit, then you can either leave it for a bit, and there's a green bar at the top here, and you can wait for this to process. What it is the computer processing the video within the software. So it will jump about and it'll look very laggy, but it's just because it's still processing it into the software. So you can see here that I've already had this audio file installed into the system downloaded into the system and uploaded, so it has plenty of time to process. So I'm getting very smooth video here. So you can either do the same, or you can rely on your audio placement. And as we can see here, if you've got it there, if you've matched it up here, then you're absolutely fine. So what we want to do is trim the video. So yes, we basically want to signify where the start of the video is. So to do that, you just play along. And that is the start of the video there, just after that laugh. So what we want to do, zoom in, select just before she takes a breath. So just so we got that air, so it's the start of the sentence. And now we're going to select both the audio files. So click audio 2 and then shift, click audio 1, and now automatically select the video. If you get this blue thing here, don't worry about that. Click here. And what we want to do is trim it. So now we've got a beginning and an end point. There we go. So let's click at the start. Brilliant. So we've got a clear start point there. That's the start of the video. So what I like to do, so it's not very sudden, what we're just going to add a small fade. It's very simple. You see this here that kind of looks like, if you know music at all, it kind of looks like 40 almost without the line for the F. That's just the fade in. So it signifies a slope going up the way. So we'll click on this and it will tell you how long you want your fade for. Let's make the fade in about a second. Let's make it 1 second. Set. And let's see how that looks when we put it back to the beginning. Yep, that looks fine. That's absolutely fine. There we go. Let's see if we can make it a little bit shorter possibly. Maybe a tiny bit shorter. So I'm going to zoom in. Take this back over to here. Make sure, just another note, when you're going along, don't grab any audio files or video files. Just use this part at the bottom to scan through the video. So you can do it small increments or to the very start here, which is what we want to do. So we have, there we go, that's the entirety of our fade there. So let's scrub along a little bit. And it should come up at the start, or just type in 1 and it should take you right there. Okay, so I want to reduce the fade a little bit. So let's go over. Oh, that was a bit much. So let me just zoom back out again. There we go. So sometimes, as you can see there, it can be a bit of a faff trying to zoom in and out and find the right spot, but you know, everything takes its time. So there you go. When you hover over, this whole blue bar here is your fade. So when you hover over it, you'll see this icon here, which indicates your trimming of the fade. So once you click on it and hold your clicking, you can change the duration. So it's a little bit less or a little bit more. We want it a little bit less. So I would say around about here. Okay, let's double check that. So we'll take it back to the beginning. Maybe a little bit less, maybe here. That's good, I'm happy with that. Okay, so now we've got a clear start. Yep, let's do that. Cool. So, next thing we're going to do is have an end. So we now need to make sure that it ends at the right point. So we don't want any extra things. So if you're recording a service and it's the end of the service, you might not want to record the people walking out of the place and have like 2 minutes of people chatting and walking out the service. So we're going to cut that out basically and create a definite endpoint. So it's similar to the starting point. You just scan through, find the end of when they're speaking, and you can use the audio file here as a guide. So I can see that that's the last main bulk of audio points. So I'll go back to the audio transients there. So then, and there we go. They've just said Amen. So I think that's going to be my endpoint here. So exactly the same as last time. I'm just going to select this audio file, hold Shift, select the audio file at the top, which automatically selects the video file. Click the top of this cursor. And I'm going to click this button here. And that's set end time to timeline position. So that'll immediately make it the last thing there. So I want to click that. Brilliant. And that creates our endpoint. So let's have a quick listen and a quick watch. Brilliant. So we've had the fade in. So now we want the fade out. And as you can see, we've now got the backwards F, which we assume is our fade out. And there we go. So that's a video transition, which is a fade out. So let's click on this. Now we didn't get that for the fade in, but that's fine. Fades, it just shows you lots of fades, lots of different types, and we want fade out. 1 second, that will do it. Let's see how that looks. And there we go. Perfect. Great. So that is the basics of how to edit a video together using an external audio recording device and the video recording device and putting them together. So if you really want to, you can export that video. That's absolutely fine. And it does the job. You can hear what they're saying very clearly. You're getting a clear visual there. It's absolutely fine. What I'm now going to talk about is slightly more advanced techniques. So we're going to delve into the effects they can use to clean up the fuzziness that's going on with the microphone. We're going to level out the audio so we get a little bit of the reverb, but maybe a bit more of the microphone instead, because that's where all the clarity is coming from. So if you want to clean up the audio a little bit, first thing we're going to do is just listen to it. And as we're listening to it, we're going to turn down the video audio track, which has all the reverb in it. So let's give it a wee listen, and you can turn it down with me. This is your track volume. This is what we're going to bring down slightly so we get a bit more of the microphone and a bit less of the reverb of the room. So I'm actually happy with where the audio's at, because listening back to it, you can hear that it's actually very weak and there's actually nothing coming from it. So if you want, you can mute that track. There we go. We don't actually need any of the audio coming from that. And we get enough of the reverb from this audio here. So that's fine. Okay, so let's delve in to the fun bit, in my opinion, is the fun bit, the effects. So, first thing we want to do is click this button here, FX. Now, with audio effects, there should already be a saved file on your computer, or a saved preset, sorry, here, and it should say voice 1. And this should be perfect for this video here. And you can use it in other videos and slightly edit that template to match with whatever service you're recording. So first thing I start with, a compressor. So let's get the compressor and let's listen to the audio. So for me, that's quite good at that level. And you can hear a lot of fuzziness in this audio, which we'll fix in a wee second. But you can just hear it as it is with the effects on it, and you'll hear that it's okay. But I'm just going through this just so you understand what's happening here. Next one I'm going on to is Amplify. So sometimes you need to amplify the audio if you've compressed it so it's back to normal levels. So let's click Amplify. And here we go. Now we've got our first preset. So I'm going to put this at the bottom here. So I'm going to put to, I think it's default, because and we're just going to hear how much gain amplification we want or how much we want to reduce from the gain amplification. So I've just turned it down slightly because I'm thinking that the compressor's compressing the audio so much, the quieter parts, we're already getting the detail from the vocal recording there. So I'm going to keep it 88, so I've just taken down the audio a bit. I think that will keep it nice and clear. Next thing we're going to do is a low pass filter. And a low pass filter is to do with the EQ. So what we're doing is we're moving this down for a start. We're going to be putting the low pass filter to about, let's see, there's some presets here. Human voice cleanup, and that takes it to about, so 1000 hertz. If you want a reference, about, you're most sensitive to about 1 kilohertz to 5 kilohertz. That's taking some of the kind of shrill fuzziness out of it, out of the audio. So now we're going to go to the high pass filter. There we go. So we got our low pass, and now we're going to bring down our high pass. So let's bring this down here. And the chain matters because whatever compression you're doing, it's going to affect it. So if we had our high pass and our low pass and the amplification above our compressor, the compressor is picking all that up. And what we're doing is we want the compressor to act on the audio first and then refine it from there. That's what we really want to do. Or that's what I'm wanting to do here. You could do it the other way if you want, and that would work as well. And then you're just boosting up the clear noise. But I just know that this is a very noisy sample. So I want to boost and get the clear stuff out and then just kind of filter it out after the compression instead. So let's hear general audio cleanup. Let's hear that. 200, yeah. So 200 hertz is very, very low. And we would never want to hear it anyways. It's what you'd use for a kick drum on a drum kit or a bass or just very low instruments. So we don't need that for the human voice. So we're just clearing that up, taking it out. And let's hear it. That's much nicer. You don't need a lot of low end for this kind of video. You just want to be able to hear it. And you want to clean up the audio a bit by taking out some of the woofiness of the low end and the shrillness of the high end. Okay. And now the last thing we're going to do, and it's what's going to make quite a bit difference, is the gate. And the gate cuts out the audio when it gets to a certain threshold, when it gets below a certain threshold. So the gate is also known as noise removal. So say noise removal in brackets gate, or something like that, gate level. There we go. So your gate level is how much audio you are allowing to go through. So let's get to the bottom here. Brilliant. And we want remove hiss and hum. Let's have a listen to that. There we go. So there's still a bit of hum and still a little bit of hiss, but it's greatly reduced by this chain here. This helps just boost the audio and take out a little bit more of that hiss and humming. But if you want, you can experiment. You can take some of the things out, put them back in, see how it sounds. And you can experiment with how the audio works. So you can see it's actually peaking at the top here. So the next thing I'm going to do is try another EQ. So let's see if we have an equalizer. Here we go. So let us select this equalizer here. And you can now pick between a visual, graphic, or parametric EQ. As you can see, parametric and graphic EQs are quite similar. As you can see, the depth, so this is just taking out the audio here, has different audio frequencies here that you can take out up to 17 hertz. So sorry, 17.5 kilohertz. And then we have our parametric EQ here, which seems to be a bit more detailed. So you've got your depth, but this also allows you to change, let's see, change bandwidth Q. So that is how much you're affecting here. So say I drag this down, this curve here, that is what the Q represents. So you can make it thinner or you can make it wider. Let's take that out. Let's just set flat by changing these quantities here on this. So it'll take out more or less of the frequencies, I'm quite sure. Okay, or more or less of the frequencies around this one here, sorry. Okay, so I want to go to a graphic EQ because we don't need anything too technical. I'm going to take this down here at the top. Just a gradual raise down so we can get a bit more of that harshness out. And we'll apply it. That's already a little bit better, less harsh. Hum's still there in the hiss, but it's not as present. So I might raise this slightly up and bring the low end down a little bit. Let's hear that. So all we're wanting to do is chisel out a nice clean sound. So I'm just going to continue doing that, and you can do that along with me. And there we go. I've just fixed up the audio there. So what I've done is taken down the amplification a bit because I think it was peaking just a little bit too much. So the audio was being too loud. And I'll quickly show my configuration if you need any help. I've taken out all the lower frequencies here from 24 Hz to 136 because we do not need to hear that from the human voice. And then we have, I've taken it gradually up from 193 Hz, 193 Hz, gradually up until 546. So we still have a bit of low end, but we're mainly getting this detail here, and then it tapers off starting around 4.4 kilohertz and down quite low till about 17.5 because we don't need that loud either. We just want the detail and less of the hum. And I think that's worked very well. So the last thing we need to do is export the video. So first thing you do is make sure the cursor is at the very end. Let's select the video here. So we've got a clear start and end. Click export video at the top left hand side here. And now we want to select video file. And here we go. So you'll get a very similar thing on Windows as well. So let's take this down here. So instead of untitled, we're going to call it, let's call it, I'm calling it demo, and it should be 05. I just put the date. Put your date in. So put your recording session, name, whatever it is, and then date it. So this was 05 from the time it was recorded. 05 20, sorry, 02 22, and I'll put some dots. Sometimes it doesn't let you put in certain things, but that spaces out quite well. It doesn't let you put in certain symbols, but that's okay. And yep, that's all fine. It's all matched up. Yep, that's fine. Variable. Brilliant. And click create. Let it do its thing. And it will take about 5 minutes usually, 5-10 minutes, depending how long the video is. And once that's done, you will find it in your folder. Here. And there we go. So that's the video exported here. So if you click show in folder, it should take you straight to it. So it should be in the recorded services folder, then inside your finished videos folder, and right there. So you can click and play it and see how it looks. If you want to edit it again, you can click back into your video project where it would have been saved. So you'll have another file there that says video projects, and you can go back and you can make some changes to it. But there we go. Thanks for watching.